She is 26. Bus stop, 6:15 a.m. January cold that doesn't care about your schedule. She works 2 jobs. One at the clinic, one at a warehouse that smells like cardboard and bleach. Her son is 4, taller than every kid in his preschool class. Big hands, big feet. The teachers keep asking who his father is. She doesn't answer. His father left before the ultrasound, saw the positive test, said he needed time, took his time all the way to another state. She carries everything. The rent, the diapers, the 4 a.m. fevers, the guilt that hits at midnight when she wonders if he'll grow up angry like his father or broken like her. She doesn't know it, but her story is 6,000 years old. Open your Bible to Genesis 6, verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them. Stop there. Read it again. The daughters came first, before the fallen ones descend, before the wickedness multiplies, before God repents that he had made man. Before the flood, the text sees the women first. Moses doesn't open Genesis 6 with the monsters. He opens with the mothers, daughters born unto men, named before the invaders are named. This matters, because every sermon you've ever heard on Genesis 6 starts with the giants, starts with the Nephilim, starts with the sons of God. Your Bible starts with the daughters. Verse 2, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Genesis 6, verse 2. 2 verbs, saw, took, not loved, not pursued, not coveted, not honored. Saw, took. The gaze came first, then the grab. The order hasn't changed in 6,000 years. 15% of women under 25 are now selling themselves on OnlyFans and other related forums. 15%. Not because they woke up one morning craving exploitation, because algorithms learned their face at 12. Because the gays' economy found them before the church did. Because someone saw them before anyone covered them. The sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, beautiful, exposed. Hookup culture is not new. It is pre-diluvian. It is sin that filled the world with violence. It is a man seeing something beautiful and taking it without cost, without covenant, without weight, without stain. Verse 4, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Genesis 6, verse 4. Men of renown. There are men of renown in 2026. Athletes, influencers, musicians, celebrities, men who father children across state lines and never lose a single follower. The culture calls them kings. The algorithm rewards them. The endorsement deals keep coming. But every one of those giants had a mother. Someone that carried that child 9 months. Someone delivered that child in blood and screaming. Someone stayed up with that child at 2 a.m. while the man of renown was in another city, another bed, another building, another brand. The Nephilim were famous. Their mothers were footnotes. And we're still running that same script. The text calls them daughters of men, not daughters of God, daughters of men, born into the mess, born into a world that was already multiplying without a purpose, born into households where the multiplication was happening, but the covering was absent. These women didn't storm the gates of heaven. They didn't rebel against the order. They were born, and they were seen, and they were taken, and they carried the weight. That's the part nobody preaches on, the carrying. Pregnancy in the ancient world wasn't a 9-month inconvenience. It was a death sentence if anything went wrong. No hospital, no epidural, no C-section. You either delivered or you died on the floor. And these women delivered giants, whatever the Nephilim were, and good men disagree on the details. The text says they were mighty, they were large, they were renowned, and they came out of someone. Some woman in the pre-flood world carried something she did not choose, something that was put in her by a being who saw her, took her, and left. And she bore it, and she bore him. I keep going back to the bus stop. 6:15 a.m., January. She's got her son by the hand and a lunch bag in the other. Her phone is cracked. Her nails are bitten down. She hasn't bought herself anything in 7 months. His father has 50,000 followers online, posts videos about masculinity, gets paid to speak at events. Men of renown. She carries everything. She doesn't get a platform. She doesn't get a book deal. She doesn't get a podcast intro or a sponsorship. She gets the 4 a.m. alarm. She gets the bus schedule. She gets the guilt, the bills, and the silence. And the text saw her first. That's what Genesis 6 is. It's God, through Moses, looking at the scene and naming the weight bearers before naming the invaders. Daughters were born unto them before the sons of God descended, before the taking started, before the giants walked, before the violence filled the earth. The daughters came first in the text because God sees the ones who carried first. This is not an excuse for sin. The Bible doesn't excuse the women of Genesis 6 any more than it excuses the men. The whole earth was corrupt. The whole earth was violent. God judged it all. And the invaders in verse 2 and the giants in verse 4. The order is on purpose. Moses could have started with the Nephilim. Every movie does. Every History Channel does. Every sermon that turns Genesis 6 into a creature feature does. But the inspired text starts with the women, because God is not impressed by giants. He has always been watching the ones who carry. The Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. God sees the woman at the bus stop. If you're her, if you're carrying the weight of a man who saw you and took you and left, know this, the text saw you first. Before the giants, before the famous, before the mighty, you were in verse 1. God is not scanning the earth for the impressive. He is watching the faithful. He is counting the 4 a.m. wake-ups, the double shifts, and the prayers whispered into pillows, wet with tears. You are not a footnote. You, my sweet sister, are verse 1. She is still carrying. The text still sees her.